Fashion Dreamer is finally here. I've been playing for a few hours, so I wanted to give some of my thoughts and first impressions. I know a lot of people have been asking, is Fashion Dreamer worth it? And so I wanted to answer that question. So I want to say off the bat that it is not for everyone and it depends on the person, but hopefully by the end of the video you figure out if you're that person or not. But first, before I get started, my name is Delaney. Welcome to my channel. I love talking about video games, mostly Nintendo Switch related, and I do live streams, all of those things. So if you want to come here and hang out, like and subscribe, and welcome back return viewers. So let's get started. For those who don't know what Fashion Dreamer is, Fashion Dreamer is by the same company that did the Style Savvy games that were on 3DS and DS, but this game is not in the same vein as Style Savvy. It's more of a successor to Style Savvy, I would say. So in Fashion Dreamer, it's described as a fashion communication game. You are dropped into these little hub worlds where you're able to dress up all the different NPCs there, as well as interact with people online with dressing them as well, with things called Look It. But the ultimate goal of the game is to get as many followers as you can by doing Look Its for the other NPCs and designing your showroom, as well as just taking photos and things like that. So it is a lot of different elements to the gameplay. It is like a little bit different from how the Style Savvy games ran. So yeah, that is like the overarching themes of, think like fashion influencer, like Instagram, like that type of idea. But yeah, so I'm gonna get into some of my pros and cons of Fashion Dreamer. My pros, like pretty much off the bat for me. So first, I want to say aesthetically and visually, the game is very pretty. It runs really well on the Switch. Everything is just really bright and vibrant. I really love the music. It doesn't seem too loopy for me. Like it really helps me get into the game. The gameplay is very addicting. It has a lot of like addicting qualities to it. So you run around, depending on what mode you're in, these NPCs will give you a guide as to something that how they want to be dressed. The gameplay is really addicting for me because I just love dressing up the characters and just like seeing like what items I can collect to be able to like make the cutest outfits. It's giving me a lot of life. I can spend like hours honestly just like dressing up the NPCs. Another thing that I really like is that there's different worlds to explore. So once you get tired of like the first hub, depending on how many followers you accumulate, it ups your ranking, and each ranking you are able to unlock a new hub to explore and talk to more NPCs and get different types of items. And each hub has their different kind of themes. Kind of cool being able to unlock the different hubs. Yeah, so I think there's two places where I think this game really shines for me. I would say first is on online mode, because with online mode it's actually pretty smooth. You unlock online mode really quickly, about 2 hours into the game. So with online mode, you are able to communicate with all the people, everyone around the world who's playing the game. So I think it's so cool being able to see what kind of styles people are, like how people are styling their avatars, how they style the NPCs. So you know, it's a lot of like inspiration on that aspect. But you get to decorate a showroom, and your showroom is kind of like a little like storefront area where people can come to your store and like see what clothes you have and like your clothes and be able to use their clothes with their hub. You can also get a lot of points based on people coming to visit your showroom and what they are liking in your showroom area. Doing the showroom, so it's like a thing called a showroom stream, where you're able to go to just like a stream of different showrooms and, you know, pick out clothes that you want. It's kind of like it's like a free little mini shopping event. You're able to see how creative people are with decorating their showroom and just like their unique style and creativity, and I really love that. So there's that, but also there's these things called Look Its, where you can request it to people online to send you clothes based on your preferences that you answer within the game, which I think is really cool. That I think is one of the coolest aspects for me. I like sending requests to people and having them like seeing, like, you know, figuring out like what they're going to dress me as, and also just getting like new items from other people around the world and just like seeing their unique style. You can also dress up in the style that they send you, which I think is just really cool, and it's another way of like connecting with other people without talking to them. So there isn't a feature in the online mode where you're actively in real time with the people who are online. I kind of like feel like it's a nice in between, and I think online runs really smoothly. It doesn't doesn't crash on me even when I go to put my game in idle mode, which I also love that the online mode is like one of the smoothest online modes I've seen in a game actually. And I know that it's not really intensive when it comes to that mode, but it's just a little detail that I like. Another place where I think the game thrives is where you're able to give your own unique spin onto some of the clothes. So in the gacha machines in the game, you're able to get these different items. So you get like shoes or t-shirts, things like that. But the spin on this is that you're able to change the color schemes and do different color stories with them, which I think is where the game really thrives at, letting you have your own unique spin on the clothing that you collect. It does add like another unique element to the game where everyone doesn't have a different, like doesn't have the same clothing, because some people have changed the colors and done their own thing with it. The more that you dress NPCs and people around, you get different color stories that adds into your gameplay when it comes to creating your own look. And I just think that that is really fun. I really have a lot of fun like just creating like my own shoes and thinking about the color schemes or the color story that I want to go with for my collection. Yeah, so that is a majority of the pros. We're gonna get into the cons now. So the cons for me is that I wish there was a story or just another element of connection to the game. It does feel very one-dimensional. Trying not to compare completely to the Style Savvy games, because I feel like it's more like it's just in the same vein of Style Savvy, but it's not trying to be Style Savvy, I would say. But I do feel like I wish there was like a little connection to some of the NPCs and the characters. Maybe have like an overarching story that makes you feel more goal oriented and into like creating the looks and the clothes for the people. Like I know in the past Style Savvy games, you owned a boutique and people came in and had different requests for you. I do wish that there was just a little bit more to the styling part of the game. The next thing I would say is that the gameplay is pretty repetitive, and depending on who you are, if you don't like that repetition, you probably get really tired of it very quickly. For me, I'm not still having a lot of fun with styling and creating looks and talking to getting like requests from people online and things like that. But I would say the gameplay loop is pretty repetitive, so it's just mostly dressing and just redressing other NPCs. But there also are some photo booths you can do in the gacha and the little mini games, the bingo cards. Another thing I would say, it's a little grindy, just mostly based on you have to continuously be either dressing NPCs, changing up your showroom, and taking photos so you can gain more followers and more points so you can rise in the ranks. And the last one I would say is that the worlds are pretty small. I wish that the hub worlds there was more to explore and do. So it kind of just like is a very small loop around area.
This is editing Delaney, and I forgot to mention there was one con that I did forget, and that is that there is no you can't change your body type. So you can't be plus size in this game, and it says body shape, but it's only associated with just your height. So it's just from like petite to tall, and that is so unfortunate, because I feel like in 2023 we should be having more body positivity, more body diversity within games. And I feel like in a way it probably was laziness, because they didn't want to try to have the clothes fit different types of shape sizes. And also let's also take into consideration Japanese beauty standards. I know it's different over there when it comes to clothing. But yeah, it really sucks that you don't have different body types, and I wanted to mention that. And the other thing I wanted to mention was that the some clothes are gender locked, which I also think is unfortunate. So I feel like that was just a little bit of a miss when it comes to just the diversity and inclusivity when it comes to that. So I just want to make sure I mention that, and we can get back to the video.
And that's kind of it for my cons. But yeah, so now we're getting to the end of this video, which is who is Fashion Dreamer for? So I feel like Fashion Dreamer is very sandboxy, where you kind of take what the gameplay they're given to you and just do whatever you want, so it's either you are into like dressing the NPCs and rising the rankings. Also there's a lot of like aspects where you could do the showroom mode. There is the photo mode where you can take take pictures with NPCs and collecting clothes. So it depends on how you feel about gameplay and like something without a storyline. I personally love it so far. I recommend it to anyone who's looking for a different kind of gameplay from what they've been playing recently. Like for instance, there have been a lot of farming sims on the Switch, and honestly there aren't any dress-up games on the Switch unless you're trying to count Animal Crossing. But there aren't any dress-up games on the Switch, and I think that it's a nice change of pace from all the other games that we've been giving. It kind of cuts through the noise for me, and I just really been enjoying my time. So it just all depends on what kind of gameplay person you are. If you're really into like story-driven games, then maybe this game isn't for you. But if you're a person who's into like fashion, loves styling, and loves just like collecting things, you know, being creative, but also you can turn your brain off while playing it and watching something on TV, and I recommend this game for you. But yeah, I wouldn't say this game is for everyone, and that's okay because not everything is for everyone. But for me personally, I have been enjoying it so much. I just can't put it down, honestly. Right now I really can't put it down, and I do still see myself playing this game like in the future. There are gonna be more free updates, like monthly updates. I'm not sure how long that will be, but it seems like there's gonna be more updates and things added into the game. So hopefully there's more things that can change up the gameplay and add more aspects. But I do see why there's a lot of mixed reviews. So I hope this helps anyone who's been on the fence about whether or not they want to pick this game up or not. Let me know down in the comments if you're playing Fashion Dreamer, what do you think of Fashion Dreamer, and or if you are deciding if you want to pick it up or not. I also am going to add my Fashion Dreamer ID just so we can link up on Fashion Dreamer if you're playing. I'll put it down in the comments below. So I would love to get requests and to do look-its for people because it's super fun for me. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, have a wonderful day as always. See you in the next video. Bye.